Now at 5, we've had plenty of rain, flooding rains over the past 36 hours, and we got more rain to go. We're going to talk about that here in a bit.
Plus, we're going to take a look at some of that flooding in roads and low-lying areas, and
new security fencing is up around the Supreme Court ahead of its final decision on Roe v. Wade. I'm Natalie Brand. What legal analysts believe could be one of the next battles in the fight for access to abortions.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Rivers and roads are flooding across the 4 states as Mother Nature continues to dump massive amounts of rain. Water levels at Spring River in Cherokee County were 3.5 feet above flood stage, and that level was expected to rise at least another 4 feet before cresting tomorrow. Lightning Creek near McCune and the Neosho River from Commerce, Oklahoma to Parsons are also flooding. This is KOIM News at 5. It looks like more rain is on the way. Doug Heddy joins us.
Yeah, it's not just this event. You have to go back to last Friday. We had very heavy amounts of rain. We had some heavy rain on Monday. It picked back up again Tuesday night. Rained all day long yesterday, last night, and then periods of showers and thunderstorms for us today. And we still have another batch to go of showers and thunderstorms for us tonight. You can see the showers and thunderstorms picking up on the Kansas side into northeastern Oklahoma, a little cluster in southwestern Missouri. And now that we have the flooding, even if you're getting rain up here, it still runs into the rivers down here. So it kind of disperses across the region. Showers, thunderstorms, southeastern parts of Kansas. We have a cluster southwestern Missouri. Most of these are going to behave tonight. Most of these, meaning behave, are going to stay below severe limits, but we don't need any more rain, and it looks like we're going to get batches of showers and thunderstorms over about the next 5 or 6 hours. So a lot to talk about, all coming up here in just a bit.
See you then. In McDonald County, Missouri, floodwaters have crept into Big Elk's floats and camping near Pineville. Campsite's Facebook page says there won't be any camping in the A or B sections this weekend because of the high water. Across southwest Missouri, a lot of roads and low water areas are flooded, and authorities say they'll remain that way tonight. That's led to at least one water rescue. The driver of a half-ton truck became stalled in low water in the Seneca district. The driver managed to climb on top of the truck. When it filled with water, a backhoe was used to rescue that driver. It's a similar scene in parts of southeast Kansas. In some cases, there might not be barriers warning drivers. Even roads that might seem passable can be dangerous in conditions like this. If in doubt, as always, the advice is go around, don't drown. And it's not just flooding. Some trees were broken in Joplin, possibly from the high winds of the microburst. And whenever the ground is as soggy as it is now, the risk climbs that trees could be uprooted. Kansas school students could soon transfer to any public school in the state, even if they aren't a resident in that district. And some local school districts already allow it. Under a mega bill that Governor Kelly is expected to sign, open enrollment could start in Kansas in 2024. In southeast Kansas, Columbus Superintendent Brian Smith says this can be beneficial to students who may feel their local district isn't the best fit.
Some districts are better fits than other districts for students, maybe because, for instance, maybe we have a soccer program our neighboring district doesn't, and that student would like to participate. Or maybe we have an agricultural program and they don't, and that student would like to participate.
Schools do have the option to deny students due to a history of suspensions and expulsions. Not everyone is happy about the open enrollment in Kansas. We're going to have more on that for you tonight at 6. A leaked document suggesting the Supreme Court's conservative majority may be planning to overturn Roe v. Wade continues to spark outcry. Federal and state officials are preparing for the final decision in the coming weeks. Some analysts say the battlefield over abortion access could expand should Roe be done away with. Natalie Brand reports from Washington, where Democratic lawmakers are gearing up to vote on an abortion bill.
Additional taller security barricades are up around the U.S. Supreme Court, with demonstrations expected to intensify there and around the country ahead of a final ruling on the direct challenge to Roe v. Wade.
If the law changes, we will address appropriate next steps at that time.
The opinion is expected by early July, and it could shape the more than 20 states nationwide that are moving towards putting more restrictive laws in place. Some of those bills have been tied up in lower federal courts pending the high court's decision.
If you wipe Roe v. Wade off the books, it means there's nothing in the federal constitution to prevent states from completely outlawing abortions, and that's what we'll see.
Some conservative states are also moving to restrict use of abortion drugs, which some analysts believe could be a new front in the battle over access.
I think that there is going to be a battle between the states and the federal government, which allows the distribution of abortion pills, and states which try and outlaw the distribution and use of abortion pills within their boundaries.
Democratic states and local leaders are bracing for a possible influx of women seeking abortion services. That includes Illinois, which is surrounded by several states that would restrict access if Roe is overturned.
We are not going to turn back the clock, no matter what the Supreme Court says.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says next week the Senate will vote on a bill to make abortion rights federal law.
People should show where they stand. This has been American law for 50 years.
Let's allow the people to weigh in on this, and we'll have a big national discussion.
The Democratic bill to codify Roe v. Wade is not expected to get the 60 votes necessary to move forward. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Moderate Republican Senators Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski also have a more narrow bill to codify Roe v. Wade, which some Democrats, like West Virginia's Joe Manchin, say they are open to. Senate Majority Leader Schumer, however, today said he does not want to compromise on the issue. Still ahead, making a baseball memory.
It was a heartwarming story that went viral. A 9-year-old boy given an Aaron Judge home run ball. I'm Michael George with the emotional moment when the boy met his hero face to face.
But first, common myths about cholesterol. That's next in Healthwatch.
Spring is
Topping today's Healthwatch, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has given the okay for new testing aimed at improving diagnosing Alzheimer's disease. The LumiPulse test is intended to be used in patients age 55 and older with various causes of cognitive impairment. It could offer an alternative to time-consuming and expensive tools like PET scans. Alzheimer's is a brain disorder that slowly destroys memory and thinking skills and eventually affects the ability to carry out the simplest tasks. In the U.S., 12% of people 20 years or older have high cholesterol. Awareness about cholesterol ranges from your primary care doctor to the honeybee on the side of your Cheerios box. But what's really true when it comes to your cholesterol? Well, today we debunk some myths.
Our guidelines have suggested that lower and lower levels of the bad cholesterol LDL are associated with a reduction in the risk of death, heart attack, and stroke.
But is it true that all cholesterol is bad? Your body needs cholesterol to perform essential functions, such as making hormones and building cells. HDL, or good cholesterol, carries bad cholesterol back to the liver, which then flushes it from the body. High levels of HDL cholesterol can lower your risk for stroke and heart disease.
Getting the bad cholesterol levels down to really low levels, down in the 20s and 30s, can actually remove plaque from the coronary arteries.
Here's another one. Your weight is healthy, so you won't develop high cholesterol. False. While cholesterol can be maintained through diet and weight management, high cholesterol can also be genetic. You would experience symptoms if you had high cholesterol. That's false. High cholesterol won't cause any symptoms unless it becomes dire, such as a heart attack, chest pain, or sudden death. Prior to these events, there are no symptoms, which is why it's best to schedule a regular blood test. Now, another tip, here are two foods you may have not known will help reduce cholesterol: eggplant and okra. Just some ways to keep your diet focused on lowering your cholesterol. A new study finds patients diagnosed with cancer over a year ago and not currently receiving treatment are no more vulnerable to worse outcomes from COVID-19 than those without cancer. Researchers at UT Health Houston say recent cancer diagnoses were associated with a 17% increased risk for death and a 10% increased risk for hospitalization. If you're struggling to keep the weight off, you might need more sleep. New research presented at the European Congress on Obesity found that not getting enough good quality sleep undermined people's attempts to keep weight off while dieting. Researchers say at least 2 hours of vigorous physical activity a week can help with those Z's. Kids might be taking food and substance cues from reality TV. Researchers sampled 20 reality TV shows in the UK and found they're a significant source of exposure to junk food, alcohol, and tobacco images. They suggest popular programs revise that content. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, the likely trend in home sales in the months ahead.
Plus, we have more showers and thunderstorms, which are going to roll through this evening. We're going to take a look at that coming right up. Well, of course, this time of the year is when we get majority of our rain, or at least our rainy season, but we've had way too much over the past week or so, and especially the past 36 hours, and that's why we have all the flash flooding across the region. Today, we've had 1.5 inches of rain. This is at the Joplin Airport. Some areas have had more, some areas have had less. This is since midnight. Today is, May 5th? We're at almost 6 inches of rain. That's at the Joplin Airport for the year, closing in on 20, average is 13, so we're above average by 6 inches. We could dry out a little bit. Look at all the bright green. These are all flood warnings, so these are where all the streams, the creeks, the rivers are out of the banks. Be careful as we get additional rain, plus especially at night. A lot of times you can't see when water is standing on the roadway, so be careful if you're going to be out traveling tonight. And look at these rainfall amounts. This is just crazy. Wherever you see the oranges and red, we're talking at least 5 inches of rain. This is just the past 24 hours. And then you get into the magenta and the blue, so we're talking 7, 8, 9 inches of rain. So we have some areas that are closing in on 10 inches of rain just in the past 24 hours. So much rain. We need a break. We do have a break coming, but we still have to get through this. Additional showers, thunderstorms popping up. Southeastern Kansas, northeastern parts of Oklahoma. You can see a cluster, southern Berry County down through Benton County, and then a cluster out across southeastern Kansas down through northeastern parts of Oklahoma. Let's zoom in. Thankfully, none of these are too strong, but they're dropping some moderate to heavy amounts of rain. We cannot rule out a random severe thunderstorm warning tonight, but overall, these storms are going to behave, but they're going to drop more rain. Yates Center, Fredonia, Neodesha, down into Montgomery County, Independence, Caney, Coffeyville, Cherryvale, and then starting to increase a little bit northeastern Oklahoma, and then of course we got this band down through Berry County. All these are working northeast at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So let's go through the evening. Here's 7 p.m. Scattered showers and thunderstorms. Again, we can't rule out a low-grade severe storm. If we got that, we'd be talking about quarter-size hail and winds in that 50 to 60 mile per hour range. Let's go 9, 10 o'clock. Still scattered thunderstorms. The heaviest gets out of here by midnight. Then after midnight, we're dealing with just these light scattered showers. 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5, 6 a.m., then most of this is gone and we get to dry out just a little bit. But still tonight, a lot of areas are going to pick up an additional ½ an inch, upwards to an inch of rain, which is something we don't need. Outside, Seneca, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort right now looks fairly dry. Temperatures mainly sitting into the 60s. We do have some good news here. If we look out toward the west, not a whole bunch going on. So we are going to start to see some improvements as we go through the next few days, which is great news once we get rid of all this rain. We're going to have a lot of clouds sticking around through the morning hours tomorrow, and then the afternoon shaping up pretty good. Here's your day planner. 50 to start, 61 by noon, high temp right around 66 degrees. Then look at this. You want to dry out? We're going to do it. 80 Saturday, 86 Mother's Day. Almost hot all next week. Enjoy this lull. We're going to need it because it's going to start up again by next weekend.
Of course,
Yeah.
because it's spring.
Yeah.
It's the force days.
Absolutely.
Hey, when severe weather does strike, you're going to want to stay informed, and you can do that by scanning this QR code right now. It'll take you to the KOAM News Now YouTube page, where our weather team is going to live stream during severe weather events to give you updated information. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. Coming up, the expectations for home sales. First, though, we recognize a World War II veteran who was killed in action on Iwo Jima. Gas, Kansas native Stanley Thornton served in the U.S. Marine Corps from 1943 to 1945. He was awarded a Purple Heart posthumously. And we are proud to salute Corporal Stanley Thornton, a four-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, rising interest rates also mean higher mortgage rates. Pair that with record high home prices, and it is no surprise that a record low number of Americans think it's a good time to buy a house. According to a pollster Gallup, just 30% of adults say it's the right time to settle down. It's the first time that number has even been below 50% since the survey started in 1978. 4.4 million taxpayers are due some money back after finding out that free doesn't necessarily mean free. Intuit, the parent company of TurboTax, will pay $141 million to customers who were deceived by its misleading advertisements for free tax filing services. As part of a settlement with all 50 states, customers will receive about $30 for each year they paid for TurboTax's services. A young Yankees fan whose reaction to getting an Aaron Judge home run ball in Toronto went viral got an even bigger thrill. He and the Blue Jays fan who gave him the ball were able to meet the Yankees slugger themselves. Reporter Michael George has the heartwarming story.
This Aaron Judge home run Tuesday night in Toronto kicked off a week young Derek Rodriguez will remember forever.
Caught by a Blue Jay fan, and he gives it to an Aaron Judge fan.
9-year-old Derek tearfully hugged Blue Jays fan Mike Lanzalata in a heartwarming moment that went viral.
I wanted to not make a big scene because I was like, wait a minute, it's going to appear all over TV. But I couldn't hold back my tears.
He wrapped his arms around me, and I just had like an overwhelming feeling of joy and elation. I wouldn't ever give up that moment for anything.
The exchange even captured the attention of the slugger himself.
That's passion right there. That's Yankee fans right there.
Both the Blue Jays and Yankees fan got another thrill when they were invited into the Yankees dugout Wednesday for batting practice before the next game. Once again, young Derek shed a few tears. Judge signed the ball and gave the boy a pair of his batting gloves.
That's what's special about this game, man. It doesn't matter, what jersey you wear. They're everybody's fans. Everybody appreciates this game.
And there's more to come. The Yankees have invited the Rodriguez family and Lanzalati to Yankee Stadium later this season to watch a game from the Judge's Chamber seats in right field. If you were in the stands and there was a Blue Jays fan, would you do the same thing?
I'll do the same thing, because, I'm already old enough. Not mine, I don't need to shine anymore too much. But for the kid, it's more for the passion for the kid, So I felt like that was a great thing to do,
Derek says he and Lanzalata are now friends forever. Michael George, CBS News at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx.
And by the way, as you might have guessed, Derek is named after Yankee Hall of Famer Derek Jeter. Final check of the forecast is just ahead, but first, after a big Wall Street rally yesterday, stocks take a tumble today. Here's a look at the numbers. Here's a look at our tower camera. It's the tower camera is sponsored by R.E. Smith Construction. His work continues on that KOAM More Power project. You can check it out anytime on our website, koamnewsnow.com/power. Up next on the CBS Evening News, the latest on your money and what caused the market tailspin just one day after the biggest rally in 2 years. Then on KOAM News at 6, an update on flooding all across the area. Plus, we examine both sides of the open school enrollment issue in Kansas. And a former Pitt State Gorilla begins his NFL career with the Colts. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. I'd love to be able to tell you that the rain is completely behind us, but that unfortunately would not be true.
Yeah, we still have some more showers and thunderstorms for us tonight. Most likely these are going to stay below severe limits, but still something I want to watch. I mean, even last night we had the little microbursts and most of those storms behaved. So always something you want to watch. So we still had that flash flooding concern throughout the evening and the overnight hours. Then we had a pretty good stretch here. If you want warmer springtime temps and a chance to dry out, that's what we're going to see as we head into the weekend.
Certainly needed. Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and of course, we'll be right back here at 6. Please be careful out there, and let's make it a great evening.